Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kelsey. 2024 was a big year for me. I spent most of the year pregnant. I found out I was pregnant really early on. I was 3 weeks in. And so yeah, I spent most of the year pregnant. I spent I spent my pregnancy really doing my best to eat healthy, continue to train jiu-jitsu as much as I could. It really turned into like flow rolling and drilling most of the time, and then still teaching. And then towards the end of my pregnancy, it was just a lot of walking. I did a lot of walking outside. I really enjoyed being out in the sun, just taking in that fresh air. It was really nice. I had my baby in September, and he's now just playing on his playmat right now. So, coming back to my fitness journey and all, in my late pregnancy, the heaviest I got was up to 160. I can't remember if it was 160 or 165, but now I'm back down to 140. I was, before I got pregnant, I was walking around at like 120, 125. So my goal is to get back to that, but because I'm breastfeeding, I'm not trying to limit my calorie intake or anything like that right now. And I'm really focusing on losing weight pretty slowly. So, so yeah, the main focus as I'm getting back into like my health and fitness journey and my weight loss journey and all that is really to one ensure that I am getting sufficient calories and nutrients in order to be able to sustain the breastfeeding and myself and energy levels, and make sure that I'm getting enough rest and sleep too, because that's super important when it comes to, well, everything. Whether you're a mom, not a mom, whatever it is, sleep is important. Anyway, and then two, also just starting to get in physical activity. I started getting back onto the mats back in, I think it was mid-October. I was cleared at my 6 week appointment for exercise and all, but of course I didn't want to just like hop back in. So I started with like drilling and flow rolling with people that I trust, and I'm still doing that as far as rolling with people that I trust. I've had a lot of people ask me like how I feel, what I'm doing, all that. When I first started coming back, I felt pretty good, but especially like playing guard, I could tell my core was still really sore. It still wasn't fully healed. Baby's very vocal right now. Yeah, my core still wasn't fully healed. I felt really sore. If I was like playing guard, I definitely felt it in my core. So I focused a lot on like my breathing. I focused a lot on like pelvic floor exercises. Just postpartum, focused a lot on like building up my core again, and I'm still doing that. Even though I feel pretty good, I can still tell like I'm not all there. My timing is off. I feel a lot slower, but that's okay. I'm in a completely different season in life right now. Before I got pregnant, jiu-jitsu was my life. I was training all the time. I was competing a lot. I well, before I got pregnant, I took a break off competing, but before I decided I wanted to get pregnant, I was competing a lot. But anyway, I spent a lot of time at the gym. I was training 2 to 3 times a day, 5 to 6 times a week, sometimes 7 times a week. I was lifting. I was lifting like 3 to 4, maybe 5 times a week. It was a lot, and it was a lot of driving up and down, a lot of laundry. But now I have my baby to really focus on, for one, and I have a lot of other goals that I want to work on too. So I'm in this weird position where like jiu-jitsu was so much of my life before, but now I'm kind of trying to rediscover but now I'm kind of rediscovering who I am, what I'm working towards, what my goals are. I am still teaching women's classes, I am still teaching private lessons, and I really love doing that. So I'm going to continue doing that, but I'm not training the way that I was. So that, again, that feels weird to me, but I know it's just a different season in life. I'm doing other things. I do want to get back to competing and all as well, but I think my main focus is teaching, studying a lot in order to be able to teach good, proper technique, and I'm focusing on my family, and ¿qué pasó, Pepe? I'll be back. So 3 key things to really keep in mind and focus on when you're coming back into jiu-jitsu or your fitness journey. As a new mom and as an athlete, I know how challenging it can be to balance recovery and motherhood and training. So first off, nutrition. How you eat is so, so important. And I really stress that because I think people don't understand how valuable good food is. By avoiding processed food, by avoiding junk food, you will do yourself and your body such a big favor. It'll help with that postpartum inflammation. It'll help with your mood, how tired you feel, all of that. At least for me, it really affects like the way that I think, the way that I feel. I feel more sluggish. I tend to feel a lot more anxiety if I'm eating like a lot of processed foods. If I'm eating out a lot, I feel a little more down. Um, Once I clean up my diet and I start to have like better, clearer thoughts and feel more optimistic and more energy, I'm like, wow, that it's just a reminder to me that the way that you eat has such a big impact on the way that you act and the way that you feel about yourself and about life in itself. Whether you're breastfeeding or just focusing on recovery, your body needs fuel. Your body needs to heal. Your body needs fuel to build muscle, to focus on recovery, to produce milk. So you need to ensure that you're eating enough in order to be able to do all those things. And as you start to increase your activity and as you start to increase your activity level, you need to eat even more. And don't forget to hydrate, especially if you're breastfeeding. Staying hydrated is really key for milk supply. And another thing, especially if you're breastfeeding, keep taking your prenatals. I didn't know this. After I had the baby, his pediatrician asked if I was still taking my prenatals, and I was like, no. And she said, keep taking them. And I was like, okay, I didn't know that. Anyway, um, definitely keep taking your prenatals. So eat good food. Yeah. Eat good food. If you have to eat out, do your best to eat as close to home cooked meals as possible. You really don't want to eat a lot of junk food and stuff like that. And if you haven't done it before, try it. Do 2 weeks without eating junk food and see how you feel. 2 weeks without sodas and see how you feel. And I promise you, you'll feel at least a little bit better. Second thing is progressive strength training. I have started lifting weights a little bit, but I really focused on body weight exercises, especially in the beginning. You really want to start small and work your way up. I focused on rebuilding my core and my pelvic floor, and I did a lot of body weight exercises like squats and lunges, glute bridges. Those helped a lot. And I remember the first time that I did lunges, it really surprised me how weak my core felt. I I think I was getting up off of the floor and I did a lunge to come up, and I was like, wow, I felt really weak. And so just doing those types of exercises, even though it feels small, maybe you're super strong, whatever the case is, for me, that's what worked. Starting with body weight exercises, and now I'm going into adding more. I'm starting to do more kettlebell stuff. I started doing Turkish get ups a few days ago, and I love Turkish get ups. I love kettlebells. So I'm really enjoying like just starting to incorporate those. Sorry about the noise in the background. If you're returning to jujitsu, things like deadlifts and presses and kettlebell swings really help a ton as well. We have a kettlebell here at home that I use for like my swings and deadlifts. It's not super heavy, it's like 20 pounds. But as I'm getting stronger, I'm going to increase the weight. But for now, body weight and whatever you have, 20-pound kettlebell, 8-pound dumbbells, whatever the case is, use what you have to start rebuilding yourself, to start getting a little stronger. Because again, you don't want to just jump into it and risk like getting injured and stuff like that. And then that'll delay your return. And of course, last but definitely not least is rest. I cannot stress enough how important it is to rest, especially those first few weeks postpartum. Everything is brand new, you're getting into a new routine, you're bonding with the baby, you're trying to rest, you're not sleeping as much as you used to. Postpartum recovery is no joke, and if you're pushing yourself too hard and too fast, you can really tire yourself out, you can hurt yourself or burn out, and you don't want that. You really don't want that. I think most of us, if not all of us, want to come back feeling good, feeling strong. And in order to do that, you want to make sure you're getting as much sleep and as much rest as possible. I know it's hard, especially with a newborn, as you know they're not sleeping as much. You have to feed them every so often. If you're breastfeeding, the cluster feeding can be really difficult sometimes. But be compassionate and be graceful with yourself, because This is just a season. Like the newborn stage, it goes by so fast. My baby's 4 months already, and it's insane. But I really took the time to like just soak it all in, to be present, live in that moment, be with him when he's breastfeeding, be with him when he's, sleeping. Rest, sleep, super important. Active recovery can be really good for you as well. Things like walking, stretching, yoga, things that are not super hard on your body, but help you be active and feel good. Just walking around outside was so nice for me throughout my pregnancy and early postpartum and with the baby. Rest really is just as important as training. I think the hardest part for me was seeing my body change physically. Like, obviously, I knew that I was going to change, but being in, let's say, like the best shape of my life in a sense, and then going up in weight and now going back down, it it definitely takes a mindset shift. It brought out insecurities in me that I hadn't faced in a long time, and it was very strange. But I think I'm in a position now where like I have the baby, he's healthy, we're happy, we're starting to get into this routine, and I feel a lot more confident in the person that I am, the mother I'm being, the mother that I'm becoming, and I'm just really excited to keep going. Those are the three things that I think are most important for you to keep in mind as you return into jujitsu and into weight training or just your fitness journey in general. Okay, you really need to focus on your nutrition, making sure you're staying hydrated and eating well. Make sure you're starting slow and then progressing from there. So, progressive strength training, body weight movements, and going from there. And then resting and recovering and ensuring you're listening to your body. It's all about progress, not perfection. I keep reminding myself of that because, again, gaining weight throughout my pregnancy brought out some insecurities in me that I really hadn't faced in a long time, but I wasn't as negative as I was in the past. And that's how I know that I've grown a lot because I've loved myself throughout this entire pregnancy. Remember remember that this is a journey and not a race. So be patient with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and be proud of who you are. Celebrate the small wins. Celebrate yourself because you have the opportunity to better yourself every day. And whether you've gained weight because you were pregnant or you're just trying to get into better shape because you want to be a healthier version of yourself, these three things are going to be super important throughout your journey. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your tips or questions. See you next time. Take care.